You might think forgetting your keys is just part of getting older. That struggling to remember a name or why you walked into a room is simply normal after 70. But what if those little slips weren't harmless? What if they were your brain's early whispers of something much more serious? For many seniors, this slow mental haze is brushed off, laughed away, or ignored. But here's the hard truth. Senior brain fog might not be normal aging. It could be a warning. Right now, over 6 million people in the US are living with Alzheimer's disease, and that number is rising every single year. According to the Alzheimer's Association, nearly 1 in 9 people over 65 already show signs of cognitive decline. But here's the catch. Many of them didn't notice until it was too late. That's because the earliest symptoms don't come crashing in like a storm. They drift in quietly, like a fog creeping into your thoughts, your focus, your identity. If you're over 65, your brain is not just getting older. It's changing in ways that can either support your independence or steal it from you. The difference? Catching the signs early, listening to your body, and making simple but powerful changes that protect your mind. So if you've ever had a moment where you couldn't remember someone you've known for years, if you feel like your thinking has slowed down, like your words get stuck, this might be the wake-up call you didn't know you needed. But before we go any further, let me ask, where are you watching this from? Drop your city or country in the comments. And if you care about staying sharp and independent as you age, go ahead and like this video, subscribe, and turn on the bell. We're here every week sharing insights, stories, and science-backed advice to help you live better after 60. Now let's get into it. It started with little things for Elaine. She was 72, a retired school teacher in Michigan, still full of energy, still reading novels and walking her dog every day. But then one morning she poured orange juice into her cereal. A few days later, she found herself completely lost, driving home from the grocery store, a route she had taken for 30 years. Her daughter brushed it off. "Mom, you're just tired." Her friends laughed and said, "That's just senior moments." But Elaine knew something was different. It wasn't tiredness. It wasn't normal. A few months later, a neurologist gave it a name: mild cognitive impairment, MCI. It's a condition that affects 12 to 18% of people over 60. And while it doesn't always lead to dementia, studies show that about 10–15% of people with MCI develop Alzheimer's each year. But here's the most important part. With the right lifestyle changes, many seniors can slow or even reverse some of these. That's why recognizing brain fog for what it really is, not just aging but a red flag, could change your future. So what exactly is brain fog? It's not a medical diagnosis, but it's a term that doctors and researchers now use to describe a set of cognitive symptoms, like forgetfulness, mental fatigue, trouble finding words, and a general feeling of being mentally cloudy. And it's far more common than you think. A recent study published in Neurology found that nearly 1 in 4. But here's the kicker. Not all brain fog is caused by aging. In fact, many of the underlying causes can be prevented, treated, or reversed. One of the most overlooked culprits? Chronic inflammation. When your body is inflamed due to poor diet, lack of sleep, unmanaged stress, or even long-term infections, that inflammation doesn't just stay in your joints or gut. It reaches your brain. And when inflammation hits the brain, neurons fire more slowly, connections weaken, and your mental clarity fades. It's like trying to think clearly with cotton wrapped around your thoughts. You're still in there, but your brain can't access its sharpest tool. Dr. Rudolf Tanzi, a Harvard neuroscientist, explains it like this. Inflammation is the match that lights the fuse in the brain. If we don't control inflammation, we're essentially speeding up the process of cognitive decline. And then there's another hidden cause: medications. If you're over 65, chances are you're taking more than one prescription. But many common medications, like sleep aids, antihistamines, or even some blood pressure pills, are known to interfere with brain function. One study from the University of California found that seniors who took anticholinergic medications regularly had a 50% higher risk of developing dementia. Let that sink in for a moment. The very pills you're taking to feel better might be dulling your brain. It's what happened to George, an 80-year-old retired engineer from Oregon. He had always been sharp, precise, the kind of man who fixed watches for fun. But he started noticing a strange haze settling in his mind. He'd forget names mid-conversation, lose track of his keys, even forget why he walked into a room. His doctor initially thought it was early dementia, but a second opinion revealed the truth. George was on 4 different medications that, combined, were sedating his brain. After working with a geriatric pharmacist to adjust his prescriptions, the fog began to lift. His thinking became clearer, his memory sharper, and his confidence returned. What we're trying to say is this: not all mental decline is inevitable. Some of it is preventable. Some of it is reversible, but only if you act early. Another hidden cause of senior brain fog is sleep, specifically poor quality sleep. After 60, many people experience disruptions in sleep cycles, often waking up several times a night or feeling unrest in the morning. But what you might not know is that during deep sleep, your brain performs what scientists call glymphatic clearance. It's a process that clears out toxins, including the beta amyloid plaques associated with Alzheimer's. If you're not getting enough deep sleep, those toxins build up, and the result? Brain fog, forgetfulness, confusion. A 2019 study published in Science Advances showed that just one night of sleep deprivation increased beta amyloid accumulation in the brain. Now imagine what years of poor sleep could do. So, if you're experiencing brain fog, the first place to start might not be your memory. It might be your bedroom. Are you falling asleep easily? Do you wake up often? Do you feel refreshed in the morning? These questions matter more than you think. And let's not forget the role of nutrition. Your brain is an organ. Just like your heart needs clean arteries, your brain needs clean fuel. Diets high in processed foods, refined sugars, and saturated fats can lead to insulin resistance in the brain, a condition scientists now call type 3 diabetes. Yes, that's a real thing. And it's directly linked to Alzheimer's. But here's the good news. You can change this. Numerous studies have shown that seniors who adopt a Mediterranean-style diet, rich in leafy greens, berries, nuts, olive. Let's start by talking about something most people get completely wrong. The idea that brain fog is just an unavoidable part of getting older. That belief is not just outdated, it's dangerous. Because once you start accepting that, you stop searching for real answers. And when you stop searching, your clarity slips away before you even realize it. I want to share the story of Sylvia. She's 77, a retired nurse from North Carolina, who spent her life caring for others, her kids, her patients, her neighbors. But in recent years, something changed. She couldn't focus like she used to. She'd read the same sentence in her book over and over. Her thoughts felt scrambled. And one day, while driving to church, she forgot where she was going. For a few terrifying minutes, she didn't even recognize the street signs. Her doctor ran the usual tests. No dementia, no Alzheimer's. Just chronic stress, low vitamin D. A sleep schedule that was all over the place. 3 simple things. But together, they were enough to make her feel like her mind was slipping. Once those areas were addressed, sunlight, supplements, a bedtime routine, her brain began to wake up again. That's the truth. Brain fog isn't always about memory. Sometimes it's your whole body asking for help in subtle ways. Let's break that down a little further, starting with stress. Chronic stress is one of the worst things you can carry into your senior years. It's not just about feeling tense. Long-term stress floods your brain with cortisol, a hormone that damages the hippocampus, the area in charge of memory. Over time, this shrinks the brain's ability to hold on to information or focus. Meditation, walking, breathing exercises, even music, those aren't luxuries, they're brain-saving habits. Next is a big one that most people overlook: nutrient deficiencies. After 65, your body has a harder time absorbing what it needs, especially B12, magnesium, and omega-3 fats. And when your brain runs low on these, it doesn't just slow down, it misfires. You might feel confused, disoriented, even depressed, and doctors might mistake it for early dementia. One study from the American Journal of Psychiatry found that nearly 1/3 of seniors with memory complaints had low B12, but most had never been tested. That's why if you're feeling foggy, one of the first things you should ask for at your next checkup is a full nutrient panel. Because you might not need a memory pill, you might just need a better breakfast. Now, let's talk about something most people never connect to brain fog. Movement. You've probably heard that walking is good for your heart, but what about your brain? Regular physical activity increases blood flow to the brain, encourages the growth of new neurons, and improves mental focus. And we're not talking about running marathons. A 30-minute walk, 5 times a week, that's enough to lower your risk of mental decline by nearly 40%. Even small things help, like balance exercises. Try standing on one foot while brushing your teeth. It activates areas in your brain responsible for coordination, memory, and focus. Every step you take, every time you challenge your body's movement, you're feeding your brain exactly what it needs to stay sharp. Now I want to bring up something most people don't talk about: loneliness. Not being alone, but feeling alone. Loneliness is one of the most damaging things a senior can experience. It increases cortisol, triggers inflammation, messes with your sleep, and clouds your mind. It can make your brain feel slower, your thoughts heavier, and your mood flat. You can be surrounded by people and still feel lonely. That's why connection matters. Not just talking to someone, but feeling heard, feeling seen. When seniors stay socially engaged through church, volunteering, book clubs, anything, they stay sharper, longer, because real connection wakes the brain up in ways we still don't fully understand. And while we're here, let's talk about another invisible weight: emotional pain. After 60, a lot changes. Retirement, loss of a spouse, children moving away, and grief, regret, or just a loss of purpose can sit heavy on your mind and look like memory problems. You forget things not because your brain is broken, but because it's overwhelmed. A 2020 study in The Lancet found that untreated depression in older adults is one of the top risk factors for dementia. Not because depression causes dementia, but because it changes brain function day by day. If you've been feeling emotionally flat, disconnected, or lost, it's time to talk to someone: a counselor, a friend, a doctor. Your emotional health and brain health are linked more closely than most people realize. Let me pause here and say this again. Senior brain fog is not a life sentence. It's not something you just live with. It's your body waving a flag, asking you to take a look. You can respond, you can make changes, you can take back control, and once you do, things shift. Your mornings feel clearer, your thoughts return, your confidence rebuilds, and you realize something powerful. You're not slipping, you're rising. Let's talk now about how to stay ahead of brain fog. Not by waiting for symptoms to get worse, but by building habits that protect your mind every single day. Because the truth is, once you understand what your brain needs, clarity becomes something you can work toward, not something you just hope for. Let's start simple. Hydration. Your brain is mostly water. Even mild dehydration, just a 2% drop, can cause headaches, memory lapses, and slower thinking. But here's the catch. The older you get, the less your body signals thirst. So by the time you feel thirsty, your brain might already be underperforming. That's why many seniors feel foggy in the morning without realizing it's just a dry brain. One of the easiest, fastest ways to lift that fog: a glass of water first thing after waking up. Then a few more throughout the day. Add a squeeze of lemon, some berries, or a cucumber slice if that helps you remember. Think of water like fuel for your focus. Don't skip it. Now let's shift. A sharp brain doesn't just come from what you eat or how much you walk. It also comes from having a reason to get up every morning. Researchers at Rush University Medical Center studied over 900 seniors for more than 7 years. They found that those who reported a strong sense of purpose had a dramatically lower risk of cognitive decline, even after controlling for education, health status, and social factors. But purpose protects your brain, not because it's magical, but because it keeps you engaged. When you care about something, when you're invested, your brain stays active, alert, and connected. That purpose can be anything: gardening, mentoring, volunteering at a shelter, recording family memories, creating a legacy cookbook. It doesn't have to be big, it just has to matter to you. Then comes stimulation, mental exercise. And this isn't just about crossword puzzles. Your brain wants novelty, challenge, exploration. So if you've always wanted to learn to paint, now's the time. If you used to love music, pick it back up. Try a new recipe, rearrange your furniture, learn how to use a new app. Yes, even if it frustrates you. Because that moment when you say, "I've never done this before," that's the exact moment your brain forms new pathways. That's how you strengthen memory, focus, and processing speed, not just preserve it. And while all this internal work is essential, don't forget the external environment. Your surroundings influence your mental state more than you realize. If your home is too quiet, too dim, too disconnected, it can make your thoughts feel that way too. Add more light, keep something green in the room, play soft music in the background, invite warmth and energy into your space. Now, let's address medications one more time. Because far too often, the very pills meant to help you are clouding your mind. Pain meds, sleep aids, allergy tablets, even some blood pressure drugs. If you've noticed mental fog getting worse since starting or adjusting any medication, talk to your doctor or a pharmacist trained in geriatrics. Sometimes it's not your age, it's your dosage. And you won't know unless you ask. And please, don't ignore your sleep. Deep sleep is when your brain clears waste and restores itself. It's your mind's cleanup crew. But if you're waking up often, or going to bed too late, or sleeping with the TV on, your brain isn't getting that cleaning time. A few habits can help. Set a bedtime and stick to it. Avoid screens an hour before sleep. Keep your bedroom cool and dark. And consider a wind-down ritual, like stretching, journaling, or reading something calming. The more consistent your nights, the clearer your days. Now here's something rarely said out loud, but it needs to be. It's okay to ask for help. If you feel like your mind isn't what it used to be, don't brush it off. Talk to someone. Ask for a cognitive screening. It's not about labeling yourself. It's about understanding what's happening inside you and choosing to respond. That's what James did. He's 81, a former farmer in Nebraska. He was forgetting words, losing his train of thought it was early dementia, but when he got checked out, the real issue wasn't his memory, it was untreated sleep apnea. Once he got a CPAP machine, his focus returned, his energy came back, and more importantly, so did his hope. There are thousands of stories like that. Seniors who took their concerns seriously, got the right support, and felt their minds come back to life. You deserve to be one of them. So what can you do right now? You can drink water, move your body, get outside, eat better, sleep better, learn something new, call someone you miss, join something, quit something, protect your energy, make room for what makes you feel alive again. Your brain is still listening, still changing, still capable of becoming sharper, calmer, and stronger than it was yesterday. You are not fainting, you are evolving. If this message meant something to you today, if it made you pause or helped you understand your mind a little better, tell us where you're watching from in the comments. And if you want to keep learning how to stay strong, independent, and mentally clear after 60, tap like, subscribe, and hit the bell. You're not in this alone. And as always, here's to living your best life, with purpose, with peace, and with clarity.